Most gardeners do everything right with their peppers. They water them. They feed them. They give them sunlight. And still, by midsummer, the plant just stops. The flowers drop. The fruit slows down. And nobody talks about why that actually happens or what to do the moment you notice it. What I'm sharing today is not your usual pepper advice. These are the specific moves that keep a pepper plant producing from early summer all the way into fall, and some of them take less than 5 minutes to do in your garden right now. Stay with me to the end because the last tip is the one most gardeners skip entirely, and it might be the exact reason your peppers have been underperforming. Welcome back to Earthly Gardening. If this is your first time here, so glad you found us. This channel is all about helping you grow more food without spending more money, just smarter moves in the garden. Hit that subscribe button and join the community because we drop new videos every week packed with practical tips you can use the same day you watch them. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Let us get straight into it. Stop picking your peppers too late. Here is something that sounds simple but changes everything. The longer a pepper stays on the plant after it is fully grown, the more the plant thinks its job is done. And when a plant thinks its job is done, it stops pushing out new flowers. It stops setting new fruit. It basically goes into maintenance mode. This is called the reproductive signal. The plant grew the pepper matured, and now the plant is waiting to see what happens next. If that pepper just sits there getting bigger and heavier, the plant reads that as success. Mission accomplished. No need to produce more. But the moment you harvest that pepper, you send a completely different message. You tell the plant the fruit is gone and now it needs to start the cycle all over again. That triggers a new round of flowering. A new round of fruit set. A new round of production. So the move is this. Do not wait until your peppers are perfectly ripe if you want non-stop production. Pick them slightly early. Pick them the moment they hit full size even if they have not changed color yet. The plant responds almost immediately and you will start seeing new flower buds within days. If you want red, orange, or yellow peppers, you can ripen them off the vine on your kitchen counter. They will still color up beautifully. And your plant will already be working on the next round while that is happening. Feed the flower, not just the leaf. Most people fertilize their pepper plants and then wonder why they get a massive bushy plant with barely any fruit on it. The reason is almost always the type of fertilizer being used at the wrong time. Early in the season when your pepper is young and still building its frame, a higher nitrogen feed makes sense. Nitrogen pushes leafy green growth and that is exactly what a young plant needs to build itself up. But here is where most gardeners get stuck. They keep using that same fertilizer all season long. The plant just keeps making leaves. Big beautiful leaves and very little fruit. Once your pepper plant starts flowering, it needs something different. It needs more phosphorus and potassium. Phosphorus supports root development and flower production. Potassium strengthens the overall plant and helps it carry and ripen fruit properly. When you switch to a low nitrogen, higher phosphorus and potassium fertilizer right when the flowers appear, you are essentially telling the plant to shift its energy from growing bigger to producing more. You do not need expensive products for this. A diluted banana peel liquid is rich in potassium and costs you nothing. Bone meal worked lightly into the soil around the base gives a slow phosphorus boost. Wood ash sprinkled sparingly around the plant does the same. Simple, cheap, and genuinely effective. The timing is what matters most. Switch your feeding approach the moment you see the first flower bud. That is your signal to change gears. Give your peppers something to stress about. This one sounds counterintuitive and that is exactly why most gardeners never try it. But a small, controlled amount of stress is one of the most powerful things you can do to push a pepper plant into heavy production. Peppers are originally from warm, dry climates. In the wild, when conditions got slightly tough, the plant's survival instinct kicked in. Produce seeds fast. Make fruit. Reproduce before things get worse. That instinct is still in your garden pepper today. You just have to know how to wake it up without hurting the plant. One way to do this is a mild water stress. Instead of watering on a rigid daily schedule, let the top inch or two of soil dry out completely between waterings. Not bone dry all the way down, just dry at the surface. When the plant senses that the water supply is not guaranteed, it responds by pushing out more flowers. More flowers means more fruit. This only works if you then water deeply when you do water, allowing moisture to soak all the way down to the root zone. Another method is a very light trim of a few leaves from the lower section of the plant. Removing older lower leaves that no longer get much sun anyway forces the plant to redirect energy upward toward flowering and fruiting rather than maintaining foliage that is not contributing much. Neither of these things costs money. Both of them tap into the pepper plant's own biology and use it in your favor. Fix the air around your flowers. This is one of the most overlooked reasons pepper flowers drop without ever turning into fruit. Poor pollination. Peppers are self-pollinating, which means each flower carries both male and female parts and can pollinate itself. But that process still needs movement. In nature, wind and insects take care of that. In a backyard garden or especially in an enclosed space, that movement is not always happening enough. When a pepper flower is not properly pollinated, it drops. Just falls off clean. And many gardeners look at that and assume something is wrong with their soil or their watering when the real issue is much simpler. The pollen just did not move. The fix is so easy it almost feels too simple. Once a day during the flowering period, go out and gently shake your pepper plants. Just a light vibration along the stem is enough to move the pollen from one part of the flower to the other. Some gardeners use a small handheld electric toothbrush and press it lightly against the stem near a flower for a few seconds. The vibration mimics what a bumblebee would naturally do. You can also plant flowers nearby that attract pollinators. Marigolds, basil in flower, and sweet alyssum all bring bees and beneficial insects close. More insect activity around your peppers means better pollination, more fruit set, and a lot fewer dropped flowers. The mulch move nobody talks about enough. If there is one thing that quietly destroys pepper production without any visible dramatic symptoms, it is inconsistent soil moisture. And the single best protection against inconsistent soil moisture costs almost nothing and takes about 10 minutes to apply. Mulch. A thick layer of organic mulch around the base of your pepper plants is genuinely one of the highest return investments you can make in your garden. And most people either skip it or use it too thinly to make a real difference. Here is what happens without mulch. The sun hits your bare soil, moisture evaporates fast, the soil temperature swings dramatically between day and night, and the roots of your pepper plant are constantly trying to adjust to those changes. That stress shows up as flower drop, slow fruit development, and plants that just seem stuck no matter what you do. With a good 3 to 4 inch layer of mulch, the soil holds moisture far longer between waterings. Soil temperature stays stable. The roots stay comfortable and focused on doing their job instead of managing stress. And as organic mulch breaks down over time, it adds nutrients back into the soil naturally. Straw, dried grass clippings, shredded leaves, wood chips. Any of these work. Just keep the mulch a couple inches away from the main stem of the plant so you are not trapping moisture right against it, which can cause rot. Everything else can be covered generously. If you have not mulched your peppers yet this season, this is the one task to do today before anything else on this list. Prune the plant into a producing machine. Pepper plants grow in a way that can work against you if you let them go unchecked. The more branches and stems a plant pushes out, the more it has to divide its energy between all of them. If every branch is competing for the same nutrients, none of them get enough to produce heavily. Strategic pruning changes that. By removing certain branches, you concentrate the plant's energy into fewer, stronger growth points that produce more fruit per stem. The first thing to look for is what growers call the Y fork. That is the very first spot where your pepper plant branches into two. Right at that fork, and sometimes just below it, you will often find small shoots trying to grow. These are called suckers. Remove them. They pull energy away from the main structure of the plant without contributing meaningful fruit. Next, look at any stems that are growing inward toward the center of the plant rather than outward. These create crowding, reduce airflow, and end up shaded by everything around them. They rarely produce well. Removing them opens up the canopy, lets sunlight reach more of the plant, and improves air circulation, which also helps prevent fungal issues. You do not need to go heavy-handed with this. A light, thoughtful pruning every couple of weeks keeps the plant shaped in a way that directs maximum energy toward flowering and fruiting. Less is more here, but doing nothing at all leaves a lot of potential production on the table. If you are still watching, I want to say something real quick. These tips work. But they work even better when you combine them. Harvest early, switch your fertilizer at the right time, manage your watering to create that mild stress response, help with pollination, mulch generously, and prune with intention. Do all of these together and your pepper plant becomes something almost different from what most gardeners experience. If this video has been helpful, drop a comment below and tell me which tip surprised you the most. I read every single comment. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is a great time. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a video. Every week we go deep on the kind of practical garden knowledge that actually moves the needle without costing you a fortune. Train your plant to grow up, not out. Most gardeners let their pepper plants grow naturally, but staking can significantly improve production. A pepper plant that sprawls across the ground spends more energy supporting its growth, while a supported plant can direct more resources toward producing fruit. When you stake pepper plants early and guide them upward, airflow improves, reducing the risk of fungal diseases. More sunlight reaches the leaves, boosting photosynthesis, and the plant is better able to support heavy fruit loads without bending or breaking. Staking is simple. Use a bamboo cane, wooden stake, or sturdy stick placed near the main stem, then loosely tie the plant using soft fabric or garden ties. As the plant grows, add additional ties higher up to keep it supported. Another advantage is easier harvesting. Peppers are more visible and accessible, making it easier to pick them promptly, which encourages the plant to continue producing. If your plants are already mature, it's not too late. Add support carefully, working with the plant's existing shape. Even mid-season staking can help improve fruit production and support heavier harvests. The temperature truth your peppers are trying to tell you. Here is the last tip and the one I promised at the beginning that most gardeners completely skip. Pepper plants have a temperature window for successful flower and fruit production. And when temperatures push outside that window, the plant drops flowers and stalls production no matter what else you are doing right. The sweet spot for most pepper varieties is daytime temperatures between roughly 70 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Once daytime heat climbs consistently above 90 degrees, pollen becomes non-viable. The flowers open, they look fine, but the pollen does not function properly. No successful pollination happens. Flowers drop. You get no fruit. And you wonder what went wrong. On the other end, when nights drop below 55 degrees, the plant slows dramatically and flower set becomes unreliable. Understanding this gives you timing information that most gardeners never think about. If you are in a hot climate and your pepper production stalls mid-July, it is very likely the heat and not something you did wrong. The solution is shade cloth. A simple 30 to 40% shade cloth draped over your pepper plants during the hottest part of the afternoon can bring leaf and canopy temperature down by several degrees. Enough to keep pollination viable and production moving through the hottest stretch of the season. In cooler climates dealing with cold nights, a row cover or even a frost cloth draped loosely over plants in the evening and removed in the morning keeps that nighttime warmth inside and extends your productive season by weeks. Monitoring temperature and responding to it is not complicated. But it is the difference between a plant that quits on you and one that keeps producing all season long. That is everything for today. Go out to your garden, take a look at your peppers with fresh eyes, and start with whichever tip makes the most sense for where your plants are right now. Small adjustments made today will show up as a noticeably heavier harvest in the weeks ahead. Thank you for watching Earthly Gardening. If you found this helpful, share it with a gardening friend who could use it. And I will see you in the next one.